Hello everyone, my name is Evan and I like to make stop-motion nerdy things, and during this video today we'll be continuing our Godzilla Evo project, I do say, and continuing our deep dive on this monster, one could say. On the Evo Godzilla Project Part 2 today, we'll be finishing off the painting, I do say, and once that's all done, we can have some plasticine sculpting fun. And while I make this monster today, we'll be continuing our deep dive, you could say, on this new pink Godzilla, I do say. And if you enjoyed this video today, be sure to smash that like button as hard as a kaiju, as I like to say. And if you're new here, you better hit that subscribe button, I do say, or Godzilla will stomp on your house, one could say. Be sure to comment below what you think of the project, and share with your monster-loving friends. So during this episode today, I'll give you some possible reasons why the G-Man has changed colors in the new film Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. And I'll also provide a breakdown of what Godzilla will be capable of in this new form. To begin, let's address the elephant in the room. Why pink? For those that don't know, we have seen Godzilla before in a similar color palette. Going back to 1999 and 2000, Godzilla was featured with spiky dorsals and a purplish pink hue. Additionally, this version featured spikier skin as well as jagged, sharp dorsal plates. These subtle and purple-pink hues can also be seen if we go back in time to 1994, where Space Godzilla can be seen with similar hues on his crystal shoulders. Now, almost 30 years later, Godzilla will revisit this color palette in Godzilla x Kong. But this isn't exactly why the G-Man has turned pink. Now, I should probably state the material in this episode is just speculation, and should not be considered canon to the Monsterverse, unless proven true after the film's release. The best clues, in my opinion, are that why Godzilla has turned pink. You can see all sorts of pink hues and purple ones embedded in the ice where Godzilla happens to be taking a nap, where he's evolving into his more powerful form. As for IGN's article released before the trailer, this pink coloration, or better described as magenta, or also known as magenta-hued energy, is not something newly introduced to this film. There are a vast amount of pink-colored crystals in the Hollow Earth caves, and we are introduced to plenty of pink-colored crystal structures in the trailer. But if we go back in time to the events of Godzilla vs. Kong, you'll notice some interesting details. In a particular scene where Nathan Lin and company breached the Hollow Earth's veil, leading into the Vile Vortex, we witnessed all sorts of colorations appear on the windshield of the heaves. These were most likely some visual, magnetic, or energetic currents that will quickly bypass the Hollow Earth exploration craft. This phenomenon also occurred in Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. And of course, what we see there is more pink, especially during the fight between the Ion Dragon and Godzilla, indicating that this coloration, along with that blue color signature, could be one of the several energy forms found down in the Hollow Earth. Bear in mind, this is science fiction, so not all science will be accurately interpreted. However, an interesting takeaway from all of this, that the color hues and signatures seen so far, displayed by Hollow Earth phenomenon, closely resemble Aurora Borealis, also known as auroras. What are these? These are light displays that happen as a result of the disturbance of the Earth's magnetosphere, caused by solar winds, which just so happens to be highly radioactive. And one of the colors seen in Aurora's spectrum just so happens to be pink, in addition to a few shades of blue, yellow, and orange, all of which in fact we have seen in legendary Godzilla. Some colors such as light green are also reflected in some of the Hollow Earth's crystals. So how does this all tie in together? Godzilla could be simply just absorbing one of these forms of energy that has already existed in the Hollow Earth, one of which presumes to be a more powerful energy source. As a result, Godzilla's dorsal plates that are responsible for expelling and storing this energy will now reflect this pink hue. And not only that, something that always matches those dorsal plates is his atomic blast, which, you guessed it, just so happens to be pink. Note, we haven't seen how this atomic breath attack reacts upon impact, but it's likely it'll produce a different type of destructive power. Is it hotter than the blue? Well, it's kinda hard to tell. Note that blue-colored flames are among the hottest, if not the hottest flames out there. Magenta or pink doesn't exactly show up on the heat spectrum. But looking at the RBG color spectrum, we find that this color is a combination of red and blue, the hottest and the least hottest of these, making this new atomic blast a bit of a mystery, and definitely up for grabs in this cinematic universe. So it may or may not be more powerful than Godzilla's blue atomic breath. Now, back to the pink. We don't find this color exclusively just in crystals and in Godzilla's back there, but in the ice formation it seems to be taking some different form of energy. Taking on a more organic appearance, for lack of a better description, kind of looks like veins that appear to be serving as conduits for this energy. Yeah, I'm probably assuming this stuff is some very, very strange form of energy that humanity doesn't understand, which is probably a good thing because it's probably better off in the hands of massive titans than, well, unfortunately us. Which brings up the question, is Godzilla wielding the only form of this new energy? Well, my best guess is probably not, and here's why. Now that we have a basic understanding as to, well, the reasons why Godzilla possibly has turned pink now, it's time to start thinking of the purpose behind this evolution. Note that it said that this more powerful form is a result of something that happened before this evolved state. That's right, something or someone caused Godzilla to go take a nap and evolve. Perhaps by someone or something that also wants this power. It's common knowledge now that Scar King is not the only massive titan in this movie. And this new titan just so happens to be a giant ice titan called Shimu, which I personally find very interesting because, well, I'm Canadian, eh? And I personally think it's probably going to be the main antagonist for the movie, considering this is something that Godzilla and King Kong have never exactly faced before. And quick fun fact, Shimu was first hinted at in Godzilla vs. Kong Call of Duty in a cave painting. And in all honesty, I definitely wouldn't mind making a Shimu, however, I haven't gotten any requests for him, so I won't betray the point system any more than I already have. However, I do have a large stockpile of white plaster scenes, so yeah, dear viewers, hint hint nudge nudge, comment Shimu in the comments below. Anyway, Shimu was possibly wielding an energy form that was able to surpass Godzilla, well, forcing him to evolve, is kind of my theory and probably how he's ended up frozen in ice. If this is the case, then Godzilla is basically evolving and becoming more powerful out of necessity. Now, this new energy that we have been introduced to has done a lot more to Godzilla than just make him turn pink. It definitely came with a few more interesting side effects. That's right, legendary Godzilla has seemed to have woken up with a few relative upgrades. Godzilla now seems to be a lot leaner, especially from the abdominal area and thighs. The advantages of which are the following. Less weight to move around, so Godzilla can now move even faster than before. Given that these new, less heavy appendages give Godzilla a little bit more maneuverability and is able to take larger strides. The disadvantages of being leaner is a possibility of being lightweight. This weight disadvantage would be more offset if Godzilla grew much taller, but this doesn't seem to be exactly the case. However, the one indisputable upgrade is the, well, presence of longer and stronger arms. Godzilla's never been bad at using his forearms for combat. In fact, he's actually pretty good. But now, in this film, not only will he have better reach, but also be able to use them as an extra point of stability. Longer arms such as these would definitely allow him to be more quadrupedal if necessary, while also allowing him to stand up faster, crawl, or even possibly climb. I definitely think Godzilla is going to be a far more fierce combatant with this new design. And this was probably arguably almost necessary for Godzilla, since most likely Scar King and his adversary will most likely be very strong and agile combatants. And I should probably also state that, well, it might be a little bit more of an advantage to be a little quicker and leaner than your adversary who is quite large, such as Shimu. But that's not all. Godzilla has one more evolutionary advantage because of his nap. For one, he's definitely got a lot more thorny and spiky skin. Additionally, another spiky upgrade seems to be on his tail. If Godzilla's tail wasn't already OP, this tail is now armed with thagomizers, a total of 4 to 6 dorsal plates that appear on the end of his tail. Now, we've seen what a supercharged dorsal can do, so just imagine what these spikes will be capable of on the end of Godzilla's tail. Death is at the end of this whip. Now it's time for the build rundown. So during this project today, the materials used, I do say, were some plasticine clay as well as some oven baked clay, and I used some, well, armature wire to kind of help poke those things into place, you could say. Now, obviously, there was quite a bit of painting today, which honestly I didn't really want to do at the beginning because, yeah, it's usually a big time sink and doesn't really necessarily make the best footage, so I'm kind of behind schedule on that fact, sadly, and plus there was a lot of dry brushing that I probably shouldn't have done. But at the same time, too, I wasn't necessarily sure where I wanted to go with this project yet because my reference photos weren't exactly the greatest because, well, this guy's kind of new. But in the end, I decided to just go all out pink because how else are you really gonna know that this is, well, Godzilla from Godzilla X Kong, in my opinion. And there was also quite a bit of clear coat, well, just to kind of help protect all that dry brushing and other painting from flaking off, because, well, there's hours and hours that went into that. I probably spent about 2 days painting, I think. And that concludes part 2 of this project, so be sure to tune in next week where I'm hoping to have this thing all finished. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the very end of the video. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the content, comment below what you think, share with your friends, and perhaps consider subscribing if you're new. Anyway, that's all from me. Till next time, take it easy.